Mystal Haven is a new creature collecting game that's about to enter early access, and it took some friends and myself about 2 hours to play through the demo, and in its current state, it's not anything complex. But I couldn't help myself and just wanted to keep playing until I'd exhausted everything that the demo had to offer. You battle other Mystals with your team of 3 in a rock, paper, scissors-like combat. You can attack with might, parry might attacks, attack with surge, or parry surge attacks. And on top of that, the elemental type of your Mystal also influences the kind of damage that it does depending on the element of the Mystal that you're fighting. Over time, our Mystals grew in level with all the different Mystals we defeated, although the effects of that seemed to be negligible until the level differences were a lot bigger. And we'll talk about what Archie decided to do with that in a moment, but I was never able to quite put my finger on what it was that just made this so much fun for me. Starting out in the game, there's a few different classes to pick from with different minor abilities, and I chose the Merchant because I love money, and in the grand scheme of the demo, I don't think any of the classes are any more OP than the others. Some grant early advantages for the first half hour of play, but after that, it's really hard to notice any of them because there's different items you can pick up that cover those differences, although Archie's class might have actually been what allowed him to do what he had done to us. In its current state, the goal of Mystal Haven is to collect Mystals, battle to level them up, and defeat specific trainers to collect shards. The more shards you have, the higher the level of Mystals you encounter. I really like that each of the 40 or so Mystals that you can currently find spawn in with different natural elements, changing their appearances, strengths, and weaknesses. So finding the Mystals that I wanted with the right elemental combinations kept my friends and myself playing well past the third and final shard of the demo. And my favorite part, well, I'm not quite sure if it's an intended mechanic or if it was a bug, but when a Mystal is defeated, it's supposed to leave you with a few different options where you can either bond with it, banish it, inspect its stats, or just leave it laying there. And the fourth option is actually kind of cool because if you don't have the scroll that you need to catch it, you can go run off to the shop, buy one, and come back, and its body will still be there. But in multiplayer, if I wasn't fast enough, one of my friends could interact with the down Mystal before the final menu appeared for me, and they could banish or bond with it before I could, even if I was the one that defeated it. So we spent a good chunk of our time messing around with each other once we discovered that. If it sounded like one of us found a Mystal we really liked, we would do anything we could to swoop in and snatch it once it was defeated. Oh, the cries of pain and betrayal still echo through my headphones. So I can take it for
I'm so
my
mad
own.
at you. I hate you. I hate you. I'm going to take a nap.
It's a good thing we're good friends, or, well, hopefully still are. The grand finale came for us when Archie, who unknowingly to us discovered how to use the real-time combat and began marching around defeating every Mystal that he could find, growing far above us in level. All so that he could become the final boss, flying around on his dragon Mystal, wreaking havoc and taking us out. Because yes, your character can also take damage from real-time combat and be forced to respawn. So Finn and myself found ourselves knocked out a few times, and even teaming up together, we still could not take down Archie in the end. I don't think this is the kind of creature collector that will replace the itch for games like Pokemon or Pal World, but Mystal Haven, it's really easy to get into. It supports 4 players in online or split screen, which makes it fun to mess around with in multiplayer. And I like all of the designs of the Mystals, with their final evolutions all feeling very distinct from each other. This here is the first stage of my favorite Mystal, which part of the joy for me was discovering the different evolutions while playing. So I'll leave that bit of discovery for you if you decide that you'd also like to pick up the game. So I will definitely be returning to this game once it's out in early access, as the developer says there are still more types of Mystals to come and more zones are going to be implemented. I do feel, though, that the majority of my time will be spent in multiplayer, as I would not have had nearly as much fun without Finn and Archie. Although next time we play, we will really have to keep an eye out for Archie.